The president's role as chief executive, enforcing laws and leading the bureaucracy. The President of the United States occupies the most powerful position in American government. Beyond the ceremonial role as head of state and commander-in-chief of the armed forces, the president serves as the chief executive, entrusted with the crucial task of carrying out and enforcing federal laws. This responsibility encompasses a wide range of duties, from managing the vast federal bureaucracy to setting the direction for domestic and foreign policy. 1. The engine of execution, implementing legislative will. The foundation of the president's executive authority lies in the Constitution's Article 2, Section 3, which states that the president shall take care that the laws be faithfully executed. This seemingly straightforward clause translates into a complex and multifaceted responsibility. The president oversees a sprawling federal bureaucracy comprised of executive departments, agencies, and commissions. Each department, like the Department of Defense or the Department of Justice, has a specific area of focus. The president, working alongside cabinet secretaries who lead these departments, ensures that these entities function effectively and implement the laws passed by Congress. This implementation process involves a multitude of tasks. The president may issue executive orders, which are essentially directives that clarify or expand upon existing laws. These orders can have a significant impact on policy, although they must adhere to the boundaries established by the Constitution and existing legislation. The president also appoints officials to key leadership positions within the bureaucracy, shaping the overall direction and priorities of these agencies. These appointees, once confirmed by the Senate, play a crucial role in translating presidential policy directives into concrete actions. 2. Navigating the bureaucratic maze, challenges and considerations. Managing the federal bureaucracy is no easy feat. The sheer size and complexity of the government apparatus can present significant challenges. Bureaucratic inertia, a tendency for entrenched practices and resistance to change, can sometimes impede the president's ability to implement their agenda. Furthermore, political considerations often come into play. Presidents may face opposition from Congress, particularly if the opposing party controls one or both chambers. Navigating these political hurdles requires skillful negotiation, compromise, and the ability to build coalitions in support of the president's priorities. 3. Setting the agenda, leadership and policy direction. The president's role as chief executive extends beyond simply enforcing existing laws. They also play a crucial role in shaping the national agenda by proposing new legislation and advocating for specific policy initiatives. Presidents can leverage their bully pulpit, the platform afforded by the office, to garner public support for their proposals. They work closely with Congress to draft bills and negotiate their passage. The president's ability to persuade and build consensus is essential for enacting their legislative agenda. 4. The buck stops here, decision-making and accountability. The president, as chief executive, ultimately bears responsibility for the actions of the federal government. This principle, often referred to as the buck stops here, embodies the weight of leadership and the accountability that comes with the office. When faced with complex policy decisions, the president must weigh various factors, considering economic implications, potential social impacts, and national security concerns. The final call often rests with the president, and they must be prepared to defend their choices on the national stage. 5. Crisis management, leading in times of difficulty. The president's role as chief executive is not limited to periods of normalcy. In times of crisis, whether natural disasters, economic downturns, or national security threats, the president is expected to provide steady leadership and take decisive action. This may involve mobilizing federal resources, coordinating with state and local governments, and communicating effectively with the public. The president's ability to inspire unity and offer reassurance during challenging times is a crucial aspect of their leadership. Conclusion. the engine of the executive branch. The president's role as chief executive is the cornerstone of the American system of government. It ensures that the laws passed by Congress are effectively implemented and that the vast federal bureaucracy functions with a unified purpose. From managing the day-to-day operations of government agencies to setting the national agenda and leading in times of crisis, the president plays a central role in shaping the nation's course. Understanding this multifaceted role is essential for appreciating the complexities of American government and the immense responsibility entrusted to the nation's highest elected official. The Cabinet and Executive Departments, a collaborative engine of governance. The President of the United States, while a powerful figure, does not navigate the complexities of governing alone. At their side stands a crucial team, the Cabinet. Composed of the heads of the 15 executive departments, the Cabinet serves as a vital advisory body, shaping policy decisions and overseeing the vast bureaucratic machinery that keeps the nation running. Understanding the dynamic between the President, the Cabinet, and the executive departments is essential for appreciating the intricate workings of the American government. 1. A collective of expertise, advisors and policy architects. The president, by design, cannot be an expert in every domain. The cabinet addresses this by bringing together individuals with specialized knowledge and experience in specific policy areas. The Secretary of State, for instance, leads the Department of State, guiding American diplomacy and foreign policy initiatives. Similarly, the Secretary of Defense oversees the Department of Defense, responsible for national security and the armed forces. Each cabinet secretary possesses a wealth of knowledge in their respective field, offering crucial insights and recommendations to the president. 2. Collaborative decision-making, shaping the executive agenda. The cabinet serves as a forum for discussing and debating policy options. The president can leverage the expertise of cabinet secretaries to explore the potential ramifications of various courses of action. These discussions foster a collaborative environment where diverse perspectives are considered before critical decisions are made. Cabinet meetings also allow the president to gauge the feasibility and potential political ramifications of their proposed initiatives. While the ultimate decision-making authority rests with the president, the cabinet plays a significant role in shaping the overall direction of the executive branch. 3. Departmental leadership, implementing the president's vision. Beyond their role as advisors, cabinet secretaries oversee the day-to-day operations of their respective executive departments. These departments, each with its own specific mandate, are the workhorses of the federal government, translating broad policy goals into concrete actions. The Department of Education, for example, works to improve educational opportunities across the nation, while the Department of Health and Human Services manages federal healthcare programs and promotes public health initiatives. Cabinet secretaries lead vast bureaucracies, ensuring that these departments function efficiently and effectively in pursuit of the president's priorities. 4. The balancing act, loyalty, dissent, and the public interest. The relationship between the president and the cabinet is complex and multifaceted. Cabinet secretaries are political appointees, chosen by the president and confirmed by the Senate. This selection process fosters a degree of loyalty as the president seeks individuals who share their vision and policy goals. However, a healthy cabinet should also include individuals willing to offer dissenting viewpoints and challenge the president's assumptions. This intellectual friction can lead to more nuanced and well-considered policies. Ultimately, cabinet secretaries walk a tightrope, balancing loyalty to the president with their responsibility to serve the best interests of the nation. 5. Public representation and transparency. Cabinet secretaries are not merely policy advisors behind closed doors. They also serve as public representatives of their departments, appearing before congressional committees to answer questions, defend budgets, and explain their department's activities. This transparency allows for public scrutiny of the executive branch and ensures that the American people have a better understanding of how their government functions. 6. Beyond the cabinet, the broader executive branch ecosystem. The cabinet, while crucial, represents only a portion of the vast executive branch. Several independent agencies, such as the Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, and the Central Intelligence Agency, CIA, fall outside the cabinet structure but play essential roles in implementing federal policies. Additionally, the President's Executive Office, a collection of advisors and staff who work directly with the President, plays a significant role in coordinating policy initiatives and managing day-to-day operations of the White House. Conclusion: a symphony of governance. The cabinet and the executive departments function as a complex yet vital apparatus within the American government. The president, relying on the expertise and counsel of their cabinet, sets the policy direction. Cabinet secretaries then translate these directives into concrete actions through their respective departments. This collaborative approach ensures that the government operates with a unified purpose while allowing for the consideration of diverse perspectives. Understanding the intricate interplay between the president, the cabinet, and the executive departments is essential for appreciating the dynamic nature of American governance. The president's role in foreign policy, leading America on the world stage. The President of the United States stands not only as the leader of the nation domestically, but also as its chief diplomat on the international stage. The vast swathe of responsibilities encompassed within the President's role in foreign policy is crucial for safeguarding national security, promoting American interests abroad, and navigating the complex web of international relations. This essay delves into the multifaceted nature of this role, exploring the President's power as Commander-in-Chief, negotiator, and symbol of the nation. 1. Commander-in-Chief, leading the military and ensuring national security. The President's authority as Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, enshrined in Article 2 of the Constitution, places them at the forefront of national security decision-making. This responsibility encompasses a wide range of actions, from deploying troops in response to foreign threats to authorizing military operations to protect American interests. The President works closely with the Department of Defense, the Joint Chiefs of Staff, and intelligence agencies to assess potential threats, formulate military strategies, and oversee the deployment of American forces around the world. 2. Diplomacy and negotiation, building bridges, and securing agreements. The President serves as the nation's chief diplomat, leading negotiations with foreign leaders and crafting international agreements. This role involves fostering positive relations with allies, building coalitions to address global challenges, and advocating for American interests on the international stage. The President may participate in summits, hold bilateral meetings with foreign counterparts, and dispatch high-level representatives to engage in diplomatic negotiations. Treaties, formal agreements between nations ratified by the Senate with a two-thirds majority vote, often require the President's negotiation and signature. The President's diplomatic skills and ability to build trust with foreign leaders are essential for securing these agreements on issues ranging from trade and arms control to international cooperation on climate change and global health pandemics. 3. The public face of America, shaping global perceptions. The President serves as a powerful symbol of the United States on the world stage. Their words and actions carry significant weight, shaping how other nations perceive America. The President can leverage this symbolic power to promote American values like democracy, human rights, and the rule of law. Through public pronouncements, speeches before international bodies, and carefully crafted press conferences, the President can rally international support for American initiatives and project an image of strength and leadership. Conversely, missteps or poorly chosen rhetoric can damage America's reputation and complicate diplomatic efforts. 4. The limits of power, checks and balances in foreign policy. While the president enjoys significant authority in foreign policy, their actions are not without limitations. The Constitution grants Congress the power to declare war and approve treaties, requiring the president to work collaboratively with the legislative branch. Congressional oversight through hearings and funding appropriations can also influence the president's foreign policy initiatives. Furthermore, public opinion plays a critical role in shaping the president's foreign policy agenda. The president must be mindful of domestic concerns and ensure that their actions have broad public support to maintain legitimacy and effectiveness. 5. The evolving landscape, new challenges, and shifting dynamics. The international landscape is constantly evolving, presenting new challenges and requiring a flexible approach to foreign policy. The rise of non-state actors like terrorist groups, the proliferation of weapons of mass destruction, and the growing influence of emerging economies necessitate a nuanced and adaptable foreign policy strategy. The president must balance the pursuit of American interests with the need to foster international cooperation on issues like climate change and global pandemics. 6. The tools of the trade, instruments of foreign policy. The president has a diverse toolbox at their disposal for conducting foreign policy. This includes diplomatic tools like negotiations, sanctions, and foreign aid, as well as military force. The president can choose to engage in economic statecraft, utilizing trade agreements and foreign investment to promote American economic interests. Additionally, the president can leverage intelligence gathering and covert operations to gather information and protect national security interests. The effective use of these tools depends on a clear understanding of the situation at hand, careful consideration of potential consequences, and a strategic approach to achieving desired outcomes. Conclusion: leading in a complex world. The president's role in foreign policy is multifaceted and demanding. It requires a combination of strategic thinking, diplomatic skills, and the ability to navigate complex international relations. The president must balance competing priorities, manage the delicate dance between national security and international cooperation, and all the while project a strong and unified image of the United States on the world stage. Understanding the president's role in foreign policy is essential for appreciating the complex dynamics that shape America's place in the world. The power and responsibility of the commander-in-chief. Understanding the role of the U.S. president. In the intricate web of governmental roles and responsibilities within the United States, few positions hold as much weight and significance as that of the commander-in-chief. Embedded within the constitutional framework, this role designates the president as the ultimate authority over the nation's military forces. With the power to shape military strategy, respond to crises, and safeguard national security, the commander-in-chief plays a pivotal role in shaping the nation's defense and foreign policies. At the core of the commander-in-chief's authority lies the principle of civilian control over the military. Since the nation's inception, the framers of the Constitution sought to prevent the consolidation of military power in the hands of a single individual or institution. By vesting the authority to command the military in a civilian leader, the Founding Fathers aimed to preserve the democratic ideals upon which the nation was built. Thus, the president's role as commander-in-chief embodies the delicate balance between military prowess and civilian oversight. One of the primary functions of the commander-in-chief is to formulate and execute military strategy. Through close collaboration with military advisors, the president assesses threats to national security, evaluates strategic objectives, and determines the appropriate course of action. Whether it involves deploying troops overseas, conducting military exercises, or authorizing covert operations, the president's decisions shape the trajectory of the nation's military engagements. Moreover, the commander-in-chief bears the solemn responsibility of responding to emergencies and crises, both at home and abroad. In times of war, natural disasters, or terrorist attacks, the president must swiftly mobilize the military to protect American lives and interests. This authority extends not only to direct military action but also to humanitarian aid and disaster relief efforts. As the nation's chief executive, the president's ability to effectively manage crises can mean the difference between life and death for countless individuals. Additionally, the commander-in-chief plays a crucial role in shaping the United States' role in the international arena. Through diplomatic negotiations, military alliances, and strategic partnerships, the president works to advance the nation's interests while promoting peace and stability around the globe. By leveraging the military as a tool of statecraft, the president seeks to deter aggression, counteract threats, and promote American values on the world stage. However, the immense power vested in the commander-in-chief is not without its checks and balances. While the president possesses broad authority over the military, this authority is subject to congressional oversight and the constraints of international law. The Constitution grants Congress the power to declare war, appropriate funds for military operations, and regulate the armed forces. Additionally, the president's actions as commander-in-chief are bound by legal and ethical considerations, including adherence to international treaties and conventions. Furthermore, the commander-in-chief operates within a complex network of military command structures and institutions. While the president holds ultimate authority, military commanders and civilian officials within the Department of Defense play critical roles in executing military operations and providing strategic advice. Effective leadership and communication are essential for ensuring coordination and coherence within the military hierarchy. In essence, the role of commander-in-chief embodies the dual imperatives of power and responsibility. As the steward of the nation's military forces, the president wields unparalleled authority to defend the nation, uphold its values, and pursue its interests. Yet, this authority is tempered by the principles of democratic governance, legal restraint, and moral conscience. By navigating these complexities with wisdom and foresight, the commander-in-chief fulfills the solemn duty of safeguarding the nation and preserving its legacy for future generations. Legislative relations, the intricate dance between branches. The legislative process in the United States is a complex dance between the executive and legislative branches. While the Constitution clearly vests legislative power in Congress, the president, despite not being a member, plays a crucial role in shaping laws through legislative relations. This intricate dance involves a constant flow of communication, negotiation, and strategic maneuvering to achieve desired policy outcomes. The power of the purse and the pen, executive influence. The president's influence on legislation stems from several key authorities. The first is the power of the purse. The president controls the federal budget, a powerful tool for influencing legislative priorities. By proposing spending plans and allocating resources towards specific initiatives, the president can incentivize legislators to support policies aligned with those priorities. Secondly, the president has the power to sign bills into law or veto them. A well-timed threat of a veto can force Congress to reconsider a bill or negotiate changes to secure the president's signature. Conversely, the promise of signing a popular bill can be used as leverage to gain support for less popular ones. The bully pulpit and beyond, communication and persuasion. Beyond these constitutional powers, the president wields significant influence through communication and persuasion. The bully pulpit, a term coined by Theodore Roosevelt, refers to the president's unique platform to capture the nation's attention. Through public addresses, press conferences, and social media, the president can rally public support for specific legislative agendas. A well-crafted message can sway public opinion, putting pressure on legislators to act in accordance with the perceived will of the people. Furthermore, the president actively engages with Congress through personal meetings, phone calls, and letters. These interactions allow for direct communication of priorities, negotiation of compromises, and building relationships with key legislators. A president with strong interpersonal and communication skills can significantly improve their chances of legislative success. Building alliances and navigating political landscape. Legislative success rarely occurs in a vacuum. The president must build alliances with members of Congress, both from their own party and across the aisle. This may involve offering concessions, promising future support for other initiatives, or appealing to shared political objectives. Understanding the political landscape, including the power dynamics within Congress and the concerns of individual legislators, is crucial for navigating the legislative maze. Party affiliation plays a significant role, with presidents generally enjoying greater success in pushing through legislation with a supportive majority in Congress. However, skillful negotiation and coalition building can sometimes overcome partisan divides, especially on issues with broad public support. The art of compromise, the veto and override. The veto power is a double-edged sword. While it allows the president to block unwanted legislation, an overuse can damage relationships with Congress and create a gridlocked legislative environment. The threat of a veto can be a powerful tool, but a president must be prepared to follow through if necessary. Conversely, a well-timed compromise can yield a legislative victory while preserving some core principles. The possibility of a veto override adds another layer of complexity. A two-thirds majority vote in both houses of Congress can overturn a presidential veto. However, such an override is rare, requiring significant opposition to the president's position within their own party. The threat of an override can force the president to the negotiating table, but it also incentivizes Congress to craft legislation with broad appeal to avoid this scenario. The ongoing dance, a balancing act. The relationship between the president and Congress is a continuous balancing act. Presidents must navigate the delicate dance between wielding their executive power, building relationships, and compromising to achieve their legislative goals. Public opinion, party politics, and the personalities involved all play a role in the ultimate success of this process. While the president is not a member of the legislative branch, their role in shaping legislation is undeniable. Through a combination of constitutional powers, communication, and political maneuvering, presidents have a significant impact on the laws that govern the nation. Additional points to consider. The role of the vice president. The vice president serves as the president of the Senate, wielding a tie-breaking vote in the event of a deadlock. The influence of special interest groups. Lobbyists representing various industries and causes can play a significant role in influencing legislation by providing information, funding campaigns, and pressuring legislators. The role of the media. The media can shape public opinion on legislative issues, impacting the pressure placed on both the president and Congress. By understanding the intricate dynamics of legislative relations, we gain a deeper appreciation for the complex interplay between the executive and legislative branches in shaping the laws of the United States. Unveiling the powers of executive orders and pardons, the president's authority in governance. In the intricate dance of governance within the United States, few tools wield as much influence and controversy as executive orders and pardons. These instruments, vested in the president, serve as potent mechanisms for shaping policy, administering justice, and wielding executive authority. With the stroke of a pen, the president can issue directives that carry the force of law and extend clemency to individuals entangled in the legal system. However, the exercise of these powers is not without scrutiny, as they are subject to constitutional limitations and public scrutiny. Executive orders stand as one of the most visible manifestations of presidential authority. Rooted in the president's constitutional duty to faithfully execute the laws, executive orders serve as directives to federal agencies, guiding their actions and policies. Covering a wide range of issues, from national security to economic regulation. These orders allow the president to shape the course of governance without the need for congressional approval. This ability to act swiftly and decisively has made executive orders a hallmark of presidential leadership. Yet, the power of executive orders is not unchecked. While they carry the force of law, executive orders are subject to judicial review and must adhere to constitutional principles. Courts have the authority to strike down executive orders that exceed the president's constitutional authority or infringe upon the rights of individuals. This system of checks and balances ensures that executive power remains tethered to the rule of law and the principles of democratic governance. Moreover, the issuance of executive orders is not without controversy. Critics argue that executive orders can circumvent the legislative process, bypassing the deliberative mechanisms designed to foster consensus and accountability. Some view executive orders as a usurpation of congressional authority, undermining the separation of powers enshrined in the Constitution. However, proponents counter that executive orders are a necessary tool for addressing pressing issues and responding to emergencies when congressional action is impractical or infeasible. In addition to executive orders, the president possesses the authority to grant pardons and clemency. Rooted in the principle of mercy and forgiveness, this power allows the president to mitigate the consequences of criminal convictions and offer redemption to individuals ensnared in the legal system. Pardons may be granted for federal offenses, absolving individuals of guilt and restoring their civil rights. Clemency, on the other hand, encompasses a broader spectrum of relief, including commutations of sentences and reprieves from punishment. The granting of pardons and clemency is a deeply personal and discretionary act of executive power. While the president's authority in this realm is virtually absolute, the exercise of this power is not immune to scrutiny. Presidents must weigh considerations of justice, equity, and public interest when considering pardon petitions. Furthermore, the perception of favoritism or political expediency can undermine the legitimacy of pardons and erode public trust in the justice system. Throughout American history, presidents have wielded the power of pardons and clemency with varying degrees of restraint and controversy. From George Washington's pardon of participants in the Whiskey Rebellion to Gerald Ford's controversial pardon of Richard Nixon, each use of this authority has sparked debate and reflection on the limits of presidential power. Yet, the power to grant pardons remains a potent tool for promoting reconciliation, healing wounds, and affirming the nation's commitment to justice and mercy. In conclusion, executive orders and pardons represent two pillars of presidential authority in the United States. While they afford the president significant discretion and influence, they are also subject to constitutional constraints and public scrutiny. As guardians of the nation's governance and justice systems, presidents must wield these powers with wisdom, integrity, and a steadfast commitment to the principles of democracy and the rule of law. The president's political role, leading the nation beyond governance. In the American political landscape, the president occupies a unique position that transcends mere governance. They are not just the head of the executive branch, but also a prominent political leader. Tasked with representing their political party and advocating for their policy agenda, the president wields significant influence over the nation's political discourse and policy outcomes. Through their ability to rally public support, shape public opinion, and navigate the complexities of partisan politics, presidents play a pivotal role in shaping the trajectory of the nation. At the heart of the president's political role lies their capacity to serve as a unifying figure for their party and its constituents. As the de facto leader of their political party, presidents are tasked with articulating and championing the party's core principles and policy objectives. Whether through public speeches, party conventions, or campaign events, presidents serve as standard bearers for their party's values and vision for the future. By rallying the party faithful and energizing supporters, presidents can mobilize grassroots activism and galvanize electoral support for their agenda. Moreover, the president's political leadership extends beyond the confines of their own party to encompass the broader electorate. Through the bully pulpit of the presidency, presidents have a platform to address the nation directly, shaping public opinion and setting the agenda for national discourse. From major policy addresses to impromptu press conferences, presidents leverage their rhetorical skills and communication prowess to sway public opinion on key issues and initiatives. This ability to command the national stage allows presidents to build public consensus, mobilize public support, and advance their policy agenda. Indeed, the president's effectiveness as a political leader often hinges on their ability to navigate the intricacies of partisan politics and legislative gridlock. With the nation's political landscape increasingly polarized, presidents must adeptly navigate the competing interests and ideological divisions that characterize contemporary politics. Through negotiation, compromise, and coalition building, presidents seek to forge consensus and advance their policy priorities in a politically fractured environment. Whether through legislative horse trading or executive action, presidents deploy a range of strategies to overcome partisan gridlock and enact meaningful change. Furthermore, the president's political role is closely intertwined with their capacity to influence policy outcomes through strategic alliances and political maneuvering. Presidents often leverage their personal relationships with members of Congress, interest groups, and stakeholders to build support for their legislative agenda. By forging alliances across party lines and mobilizing support from diverse constituencies, presidents can overcome political obstacles and secure the passage of key legislation. This ability to navigate the corridors of power and build coalitions is essential for translating political vision into tangible policy outcomes. In addition to their domestic political leadership, presidents also play a critical role in shaping the nation's foreign policy and diplomatic engagements. As the nation's chief diplomat, the president represents the United States on the world stage, advocating for American interests and promoting international cooperation. Through diplomatic summits, state visits, and international agreements, presidents exercise their political leadership to advance America's strategic objectives and foster global stability. This capacity to navigate complex geopolitical dynamics and build international consensus is essential for promoting peace and prosperity in an increasingly interconnected world. However, the exercise of political leadership by presidents is not without its challenges and controversies. Critics often accuse presidents of partisanship, cronyism, and undue influence in shaping policy outcomes. The specter of executive overreach looms large as presidents grapple with the delicate balance between asserting political leadership and respecting the constitutional constraints of their office. Moreover, the politicization of the presidency can erode public trust in democratic institutions and exacerbate societal divisions, undermining the nation's democratic ideals. In conclusion, the president's political role is a multifaceted and complex aspect of their leadership. Beyond the confines of governance, presidents serve as political leaders, representing their party, advocating for their policy agenda, and shaping public opinion. Through their ability to rally public support, navigate partisan politics, and influence policy outcomes, presidents wield significant influence over the trajectory of the nation. Yet, the exercise of political leadership is fraught with challenges and controversies, requiring presidents to navigate the complexities of power with integrity, foresight, and a steadfast commitment to the common good. Maintaining equilibrium. Understanding the checks and balances on the executive branch. In the delicate balance of power that characterizes the United States government, the executive branch holds substantial authority, but is not immune to oversight and restraint. Through a system of checks and balances, Congress and the judiciary serve as critical counterweights to the expansive powers of the executive branch. From congressional investigations to judicial review, these mechanisms act as bulwarks against executive overreach, ensuring accountability, transparency, and adherence to the rule of law. By subjecting the executive branch to scrutiny and constraint, the system of checks and balances safeguards the nation's democratic principles and prevents the concentration of unchecked power in the hands of a single individual or institution. At the forefront of congressional oversight over the executive branch is the power of investigation. Rooted in Congress's constitutional authority to conduct inquiries and gather information, congressional investigations serve as a vital tool for holding the executive branch accountable to the American people. From probing allegations of misconduct to examining the implementation of federal policies, congressional committees wield broad authority to scrutinize executive actions and compel testimony from administration officials. Through hearings, subpoenas, and the power of contempt, Congress can unearth wrongdoing, expose abuses of power, and inform public discourse on matters of national significance. Moreover, Congress possesses the formidable power of impeachment, enshrined in the Constitution as a check on executive misconduct. While impeachment is a rare and consequential process, it serves as a critical safeguard against abuses of power and breaches of trust by high-ranking officials, including the president. Grounds for impeachment include treason, bribery, or other high crimes and misdemeanors, a standard deliberately broad to encompass a wide range of offenses against the public trust. Through impeachment proceedings, the House of Representatives can charge an official with wrongdoing, while the Senate conducts a trial to determine guilt and, if warranted, remove the individual from office. The specter of impeachment looms large over the executive branch, serving as a deterrent against executive malfeasance and a mechanism for upholding the integrity of the presidency. Throughout American history, presidents have faced impeachment proceedings for a variety of alleged offenses, ranging from abuse of power to obstruction of justice. While not always resulting in removal from office, impeachment proceedings have the power to hold presidents accountable for their actions and reaffirm the principle that no one, not even the president, is above the law. In addition to congressional oversight, the executive branch is subject to the scrutiny of the judiciary through the power of judicial review. Rooted in the landmark case of Marbury v. Madison, judicial review empowers the courts to assess the constitutionality of laws, executive actions, and government policies. Through this power, the judiciary serves as the ultimate arbiter of the law, ensuring that the actions of the executive branch adhere to the principles enshrined in the Constitution. If a court finds that an executive action exceeds the president's constitutional authority or violates the rights of individuals, it has the authority to declare the action unconstitutional and enjoin its enforcement. The Supreme Court, as the highest court in the land, plays a particularly significant role in checking the powers of the executive branch. Through its decisions, the court can rein in executive overreach, safeguard individual liberties, and preserve the separation of powers. Landmark cases such as United States v. Nixon, which compelled President Nixon to turn over the Watergate tapes, and Trump v. Hawaii, which upheld the constitutionality of President Trump's travel ban, underscore the court's role in holding the executive branch accountable to the rule of law. Furthermore, the executive branch is subject to a myriad of other checks and balances, both formal and informal, that serve to constrain executive power and promote accountability. These include the power of the purse, whereby Congress controls the allocation of federal funds and can use appropriations as leverage to influence executive policy. Additionally, the media, civil society organizations, and public opinion serve as informal checks on executive authority, exposing wrongdoing, raising awareness, and mobilizing public pressure for accountability. In conclusion, the system of checks and balances serves as a cornerstone of the American constitutional order, ensuring that no branch of government wields unchecked power. Through congressional oversight, impeachment, and judicial review, the executive branch is subject to scrutiny and restraint, safeguarding the nation's democratic principles and protecting the rights of its citizens. By upholding the rule of law and holding the government accountable to the people, the system of checks and balances reinforces the fundamental tenets of democracy and ensures that power remains vested in the hands of the people.